Pisces, to save some time, I already shuffled the cards and laid them out. I'm using a Celtic 10 card spread that allows me to look at past, present, and future influences. And as always, I'll be teaching the tarot through each card. So you not only receive your forecast, but you start to build your own personal relationship with the cards, because that's what this channel is all about, is getting the benefit and betterment out of tarot. So Pisces, I want you to get the betterment and benefit out of this week for you, because you've got a little bit of just to pose a friction here of you wanting to move in new directions for the heart and spirit and even for the head, but you're kind of still having one foot or one brain cell really in the past and having other people's influences, and maybe even that's happening today. But I want you to remove yourself from that kind of any negativity so you can move confidently into the future, because like 99.9 of you want to be able to do that. But there's some lingering like fog around your brain cells of the past reflections of people and situations that maybe left your heart and your pocketbook broken. And also to people in situations that might have an opinion about you, or you might be encountering people that just don't kind of juxtapose with you and your values and your characters. And I don't want you to listen to kind of that scuttlebutt. Only listen to your intuitive nature right now, because that's the lead here, because your heart is really stirring in a new direction and it wants to take a new direction. And I know you want to too. So kind of embrace that and keep that hope and faith as your bright light moving forward. And for those of you that are concerned of being a parent or have a parent or a loved one that you're taking care of as a family member, or you feel like yourself are putting out emotional and even maybe material and spiritual support, it's all good. So cut yourself some slack. You're doing a good job, and no worries about your future for being a parent or anything else like that. The 9 in our hopes and fears is the Empress. It's a reflection of the good luck in that area. And more importantly, you need some nurturing. So if you're not getting that from outside forces, it's a good hard look to look at the people and situations that need to go by the wayside if you're not feeling that vibe. And most importantly, you need to give it to yourself. And we're going to start in that first card placement, the significator, the general gist of the overall reading. And it's God's karmic reward for you, Pisces, of the Ace of Cups. See how she's coming out of the water? That's your domain. It's spiritual and emotional maturity and enlightenment. And she rises, Aphrodite for me in my deck is rising up with that big, beautiful, powerful cup of the heart. And that's you, kind of with so much emotion and feeling, ready to put it out there, even feeling vulnerable, along with compassion and gratefulness and understanding out of the dark time that you've encountered. And I'll say this, there's 2 things that are blocking this kind of energy from really manifesting within you, because that's where that spark is kind of ignited, is the first card, the second card placement, what's blocking that energy literally in the reading. It's the 9 of Pentacles. The Pentacles is the earth sign domain. It's a material world. It's family, relationship, home, our own careers, our own bodies, all those kinds of things fall under that material world. And the 9 is the completion, getting up to the completion state in the minor arcana. So we need to be able to move from this kind of past reflection, because we're moving on in a new direction. That's what the 9 of Pentacles mean. It's a completion state in numerology and tarot, the number 9. And see, all his pentacles are over there right nice in a row, but you're looking at it's like maybe past reflections or past tiredness or past kind of trials and tribulations when we go through any kind of suit of the minor arcana, or just telling you you're too beat. You don't have the wherewithal to kind of give that little flame a little oxygen of your own heart, okay? And I'm saying poo-poo, because this is why I think is the reason why that is. And I'm hopping around Pisces a little bit. In the 7th card placement is the way we're feeling about ourselves. So it's a direct extension to the significator placement. And the King of Wands, he's great in the exalted state for advertising, promotion, marketing, PR, or when we're putting ourselves out there in kind of that spotlight way, or selling our ideas or our own self or our career, anything that we're kind of pitching that way. And even ourselves, like putting ourselves out in a social setting when you really want to do it. There's an attractiveness to the King of Wands. Everyone wants to know him. He's got a little charm or a little mystique about him, right? But in the non-exalted state, and this has been happening to Pisces for a while, this guy has been appearing. He's a stealer of the heart and he's a stealer of the pocketbook. Okay, he's a fake facade. Everyone thinks he's the great guy that everyone wants to go out with, but you know better. He has an emotional distance. He's non-committal. He can literally disappear for days on end. And it just makes everything hard because he's not emotionally centered or spiritually centered in any way, shape, or form. And that's what also makes him unethical, not only with, like I said, with the heart, but with the pocketbook. He could be a scammer. He's ripped off some Pisces in the past. And that's kind of that lingering fog that's kind of shadowing, really, not even shielding. We need to move that away. The shadow effect of the Ace of Cups. So the Ace is much more powerful than the King in this scenario. Okay, so I need you to give all that power to your heart and not buy into that you're tired. Take time, reflective time to yourself. You know, a lot of people are feeling that hermit vibe, which is really good right now because it's introspective. It kind of gives you back your wind. You get your connection back with God. You kind of find your path again and recognize how much power and self-confidence and self-esteem and self-love that you've really built out over those trying times, including the encounter with the King of Wands. So look again, always for our betterment, always for our positive movement forward. And here I think is another reason why we're getting a heavy negatigy feel on the Ace of Cups. The Four of Cups is the firm foundation of the heart. So we've got that kind of solid rock to build upon to do the next things with what we want to do with our spirit and our heart. And that's a lovely place for a Pisces to be. But the problem in my deck, you get a lot of gossip. You get a lot of skiddly-scattle, people talking. It can be past influences of people talking about you or how you had to do your life, because this has been so much of what Pisces has been going through, your own identity and how you want to live your life, who you want to love, how you want to work, how you want to just exist. And now you're really kind of finding your stride. God's giving you that gift back to you. So buy into that. I want you to buy into that and not into this scuttlebutt. And if you're not surrounding yourself with good energy or good positive even communication, or like if you're being around people that are gossipy or are being like not just nice, you know what I mean, and thinking that's really fun stuff, that's a reflection to get away. Okay, because it's in such a prominent position. The third card placement, I like to say, is God's answer on how to navigate the week. So you really got to pay attention to this week. Okay, Pisces, you got the firm foundation, so buy into the exalted state and remove any negativity that might be kind of piercing your heart in a not a good way. All right, and I really need to stick with this because in the fourth card position, the gut of the matter, I got the King of Cups. This is an exalted state of Pisces. The King, unlike the King of Wands, who's only like appearance is his most important thing. Everyone needs to like me. I don't care if I hurt people, if I get close, but as long as the majority of people think I'm a hottie tamale, you know, that's the King of Wands, right? But the King of Cups, he's not about the material or acknowledgement or ego pride in any way, shape, or form. He's got a solid foundation. He's got that rock of kind of his heart, right? He's got the touching of the water. You're a water sign, right? That ethereal, the mystical, the spiritual, the magical. That's you, Pisces. And Pisces gets exalted in the King of Cups. And the fourth card position is the base of the matter in the ring. But I like to say the gut feeling that we're having inside. So kick this king aside if he's not there for your betterment in those kind of marketing kind of ways or pitching you and your ideas. And allow the king to completely, because that's how you want to live your life now, Pisces. So you might as well dig into it because that's what's happening. Lead with the king because that's where we all need to go, is spirit and heart. Not be concerned about the material. Remember, it's hard for Pisces because you are that water sign in the 12th sign of the zodiac. So it's hard to live in the material world, right? Because you've got all that emotion and feeling and connection to God and wanting to do betterment for everybody, right? But the problem is we all have to live in the material world, including you. So you've learned how to navigate it and rise above it all. That would be a reflection of the king. Okay, so don't let this guy bring you down because you've already taken those life lessons on and it's brought you to the exalted state of the King of Cups. So I really want you to buy into that kind of universal gift that it's a karmic reward for you, and it's a karmic reward for any of us, but it's so beautiful that it's getting to touch your heart right now, Pisces, because you really need it. So buy into that energy of your heart and even that gut feeling that you know is stirring, that intuitive feeling, right? You rule intuition, so trust it, all right? That was part of the lesson of coming out of all this tough stuff. Again, blending the heart with the intellect is never easy. Intuition and logic, right? But you've done it. And here it just shows what a tough reflection it's been and why there's a karmic reward that's coming. In the fifth card placement, we've got, which is leaving your life, thankfully, is the Tower. It's a major arcana card. It's the only man-made structure in the major arcana because it's the things that we built up around us that we don't no longer need, is what God's saying. It's the things that prevent us from feeling vulnerable or extending our emotions or our feelings after these kind of encounters with the King of Wands. And some of the other, even with the Tower, we can really shut down. We don't want to move out of our own kind of little cocoon. That would be a reflection of that crossing card as well. And the Tower is there again for your betterment. And because it's in a past reflection rather, you've already learned the lesson. The damage has already been done. You know the things that needed to go by the wayside needed to happen because a new life emerges out of the tower. So trust this. I've had it a couple of times at pivotal points in my life, and it means that new life is starting to emerge, right? And God uses kind of like that, all that old brick and stone and everything else like that. You built up that big kind of tower around you and felt safe and secure in there. But God says, no, we need to get back out in the outside world again. This kind of life lessons you've learned, and I'm going to kind of get away everything from the past, or even that you're sitting and still, and get rid of it so you can start anew. And I take all that old stone and brick, I make like a new pathway of a cobblestone little highway, and it's made for you. So trust this. It's coming out of your life right now. It's a beautiful gift. And it means that you took up the lesson. So again, congratulations here, Pisces. You really have a good favor in divine order. And you know it too, even at the end of the day. Because in the 6th card placement is the 10 of Cups. The happily ever after in the area of the heart. But it goes even deeper. It's not just a satisfaction. It's like a peace. Because of the respect that you have for yourself, that you hold within yourself, and that integrity and ethics and character that you've learned out of the Tower and the King of Wands, those kind of encounters test us to be our integrity and ethics in the area of the heart. What do we want out of a relationship? And more importantly, what we don't want, right? Including friends and even maybe family members, not just lovers and so on, right? And that's the 10 that you've earned the placement in your own heart to make your own kind of intuitive, decisions. You have like a BS meter for recognizing the king to come at you in any way. And you want this. It's like it's a dream of anybody, but really it's a dream of Pisces because as that water sign, it needs to manifest that heart energy in the material world. And this is a great reflection of you. So if you're not in that kind of cozy magozy space, which I know some of you aren't, but just know that that's what you're wishing, and you're starting to feel that peace and joy because it's getting stirred out of the ace. You're starting to see out of that little seed of the ace the potential for the 10. All right, so aim for it. That's a beautiful thing for a Pisces. When you've got a focus, watch out, magic happens, okay? And make that your focus because that's what so many of you want anyway. So and make it materialize because it's God's reflection to show that divine order is unfolding that way. But I had to get you to a place to be able to respect yourself, right? Maybe you were in past relationships or friendships or even dynamics of any sort that weren't respecting you, and you were bending over for everybody else. And maybe that's even still happening now in that 3rd card placement. So don't let it, all right? Because that's God's answer to say, I want you to focus over here, okay, Pisces? And we've already covered this guy. Again, if it's great in the exalted state, but kick him to the curb in any kind of way, shape, or form that he's playing with your heart or your head. All right? Because the other people look at you in the 8th card position, how other people view you is the 2 of Pentacles. So starting over in the material world, just like the ace, I'm applying my heart to something new to make it materialize. I've got props. I've got the ability to make the gold coin. I've got the ability to make something from my idea and my heart to materialize it in this material world. And that's how other people look at you. And what's nice about the 2, it's like a little foundation until we get to the 4, the form. And we get a little spark here too. We get a little excitement, enthusiasm. People see you turning in a new way of wanting, again, family, home, relationship, work, our own bodies, the way that we're out in community fall under those domain of Pentacles. So a good job here as well, Pisces, because people look at you as something starting and you turn on the wheel, which is so beautiful, right? And in your capable hands, it's going to be something nice. And the hopes and fears, like I said, the Empress, we got the major arcana card. And that's why I was saying some of you, it's Mama, right? Mother Earth also too. It'd be good for you if you need to kind of get settled in any way, shape, or form, or regroup, getting back to nature or water. Even in a shower will help with Pisces, right? So that's the Empress, is to cut yourself some slack at the end of the day. She's like the seasons. Sometimes we're spring and summer. Hey, all happy, happy. Other times we're like winter. We want to be isolated. We want to pull away. We could even be a little cold snap to other people. It's your trying to do your best. For those of you that are just worried about other people, that family members are mama, or being a mama yourself, or you are a mom and you worry whether you're being a good parent or just a parent in general, just a caregiver, doesn't matter our genders or anything like that, or the role. It's more about caring and loving and nurturing ourselves, really, at the end of the day, because that nurturing has to start with us so we can give that emotional flow out to others. So if you're feeling like you're not balanced in that way, that's the hopes and fears, right? just take the time to do so, because that's what God is kind of giving you here, is a lot of time to decipher everything that's been happening to you so you can see clearly ahead, right? And you're not burdened down by the past in any way, shape, or form, or other people's opinions. That too. And I'll also say this, Pisces, you've got some good people around you. Maybe it's only a few people, but you got some good people. And that's the 10 in the outcome card. That 4 of Wands is the firm foundation in the area of the creative. It's a kind of like a stop point too, to build upon, like next, and kind of look at the handiwork that you've done, like building that firm foundation. And now what are those walls going to look like? And who are you going to do it with? That gets an extra bonus in my deck. You meet other kind of kindred spirits along the way of deciding who stays and who goes, who's ethically cool for you and who's not, who in your heart and your spirit and your material world is good for your betterment, and who or what isn't. That's kind of gets kind of like the wheat to the chaff, right? I get it all off so I can get to the seed, so I can get to the planting of the new tomorrow, the harvest. And we get some good people here too. So look around you. There's support for you, emotional, material maybe even too, and spiritually as well, because it's a kindred group of people that maybe not have been through the exact same things, but have come to the exact same character viewpoint that you hold, which is so refreshing for you right now, and you really need it. And also too, I'll say this, as you navigate those kind of old peoples and situations, and even including yourself, if you have responsibilities and obligations, that would be a reflection of the Empress. It's also a reflection of the bonus card, Temperance. They're both major arcana cards, so it's a life lesson, and it's both about not feeling overwhelmed, making sure you're taking care of yourself, giving yourself that big dose of love and energy and hope and faith and potential. That's the Temperance. We need everything about tarot is overcoming everything in our mindset, right? Because that handles everything, our actions, our words, or our attitude, or our approach. And these 2 cards are about getting into balance, right? That's Temperance. I'm flowing emotion, and I'm probably throwing it to everybody else, maybe because that's part of what I need to do. But if it's part of you just feeling vulnerable and being out there, saying a smile to a stranger or hello, getting yourself back into that kick again of being the loving King of Cups, that would be a reflection of Temperance. But at the end of the day, both of these cards, it's about, like I said, about balance. So you're the keystone in Temperance. So you need to make sure that you're talking to yourself in the right format, in the right way, in a healthy and positive manner as well. And making sure, especially with that 4 of Cups, making sure your emotional energy is, again, going only to the right people and situations for your betterment. That's kind of the overall rule of this reading. Let your heart shine, and because it's going to attract a lot of people when it goes to that shining spot. That's just Pisces. But just make sure those inner circle, like in that 10 of Cups, is only for your betterment, because you deserve it, and that's the reward here. And that's the next path, okay, Pisces? Thanks for visiting the channel. Oh, and if you're so inclined, if you like this content, if you would consider subscribing, it would be so awesome. Everyone's been so great. I can't thank Pisces enough. You guys are just so cool.